Fabien Minopal. Fabien, the director of the growth network called Tatcraft, will talk about his journey of creating an ecosystem for creative makers that enables people to imagine, create, and fabricate by combining workshops and collaborative network of creative minds. He'll be discussing with the audience alternative models for creative startups in Jordan. This event is organized by Takwin. Welcome, Fabien.
Hello. All right, it's working. Hi. I'm very pleased to be here. That's amazing. Thank you for coming. I hope it will be worthwhile. Yeah, hi, this is my team here in Amman. This is my business partner, Tim. This is Alina. You will see her running around here quite a few. This is when we arrived very early, 4 o'clock on Wednesday. And since then, we were totally constantly tired and walking around through Amman, seeing all these great spaces. And I really mean, if you talk about possibilities here, this was a great event, really good made. And we saw design that was really good. And we also saw exhibitions that were great. We really had a fun here. Everybody was very, very friendly, and we really had a good time here. The great topic too. I mean, I saw a lot of urban farming, for example, which is a big topic in Germany and Europe as well. I mean, here it's a bit about water. In Germany, we do have a lot of rain, so it's more about light. The problem that's not here in common, I guess. But still, it's very nice to see that startup topics here in Jordan are pretty much the same also. One definite highlight here was holding a workshop yesterday at Tatcraft. This is a very, very nice creator space. Thank you, Franziska. This was amazing to be there. I met so many really focused, really good startups, totally creative people. Who had pretty much the same struggles actually as startups have in Frankfurt. They're all very, very creative, think less about money, about earning, about building a business, and was a great opportunity to be there and talk a little bit about the stuff we do at Frankfurt and the hope of developing creative enterprises into real businesses that earn money and earn a living. So enough of I think I talk very few words about myself, but I'm Fabien, hi, and I am the director of Tatcraft in Frankfurt, and I founded several businesses within the last few years, and it was a fun ride to do. I think the background you have to understand that I'm talking about here today is pretty much the business side of creative startups, because that's what I do actually. I spent 10, 12 years in investment banking in whole Europe and China. Then I switched sides and get into creative businesses and met through that a lot of designers, a lot of really good business ideas, good creative ideas, but it was a hard time bringing those into life, into real earning businesses. So my presentation will be about the journey that we have in building Tatcraft, as well as some of the background from the business side and the enabling and building of possibilities for startups internationally. Oh, excuse me. You will see one video now, please, that you get the feel for our place. Hopefully. All right. So, I mean, I hope you got a little glimpse at our business about the mentality in which we try to get business, try to get a little bit fun into it, and try to get all the motivation that you need in order to succeed. Maybe this is a good transition to talk a little bit about my name, because we are in Jordan here, and probably you don't understand German. So Tatcraft is a German word that means drive, energy, and determination. It is mixed with the English word craft, which is manual creative proficiency. So what we really like to do is finding the manual work, combining it with creativity and the real business mind. So in total, we focused on creative new hardware, actually. Creative new hardware is, for us, the frontier in which you develop products that are totally creative and have the chance to change something about our world. Farming, for example, I mean, we saw it outside. This is solving lots of problems. The art we design, the manner of which we are going to develop new art forms, new installations with technique, the art how we move, the whole mobility side of hardware innovation, as well as the way we work and where we live, and of course the way we think. If you talk about artificial intelligence, for example, and the way we play. But unfortunately, hardware is hard, and creative hardware is even more so. You have a real large progress that you have to do in order to get a business running, and for hardware, this is even more so. You have the idea, the first prototype, then design, endless interactions, then marketing, financing, sourcing, supply chain, mass production, all this kind of stuff that you have to do in order to get a business running, in order to get a creative idea into market or in an exhibition or somewhere. So what we did is try to build infrastructure. This was our idea. This was a great way to get into the creative hardware kind of business. Building a space, actually. The first thing was finding one very large space in Frankfurt, which was totally hard. Took us about 5 months. Then we talked to every hardware firm in Germany and in whole Europe, actually, and tried to get large machines. I mean, this is a really expensive, fully industry machines that are able to produce hardware, artworks, and everything which you can't do manually, actually. Sorry. Please see the next video. I'm the king around here, but don't call me no dirt. I'm the king around here. No go what you said. I'm the king around here, but don't call me no dirt. I'm the king around here. I felt real desire looking at her. Yes, I did now. You know I did now. I felt brutal desire looking at her. No, I did not. You know I did. I'm the king around here. Don't make you my queen. I'm the king around here. So what we did was building a really large shop, and this actually didn't really work out, because we built what we thought was the best looking, really cool shop where you can do everything in producing hardware and producing new ideas into life, into doing really, really, really great stuff. But actually, our innovation output got totally wrong. We worked it out. We had to reiterate like 1,000 times in order to get it right. Because the problem was the following: we didn't develop a brain as a company. We think that ideas are pretty much nothing, but creation is still king, and creation is activity plus action. So when we did this, we didn't have in mind that a lot of people have different skill sets and different problems. So also And also, products need to be a business in order to succeed and to be sustainable. So they are businesses, and every creative business is still a business. So we try to imagine a company to be a living, breathing thing. I mean, the body of the company, if you imagine that, with the brain would be methods, tools. Your face that everybody sees could be your brand. Your heart is your product because you're thinking about it all the time. Your blood is your team or the people you collaborate with or the people that join you in exceeding in any idea. Maybe your gut is your feeling, the feeling you have inside you just carry around when you're thinking about your company or your product. The bones pretty much is your infrastructure. That may be if you're a UX designer, that may be computers just, or the Starbucks around the corner for hardware development, such a makerspace like ours, for example. And of course, the most important thing to have something running is cash, unfortunately. And cash might be the oxygen, the stuff we breathe in order to get something really running. And really, the challenges of every creative endeavor are manifold. Everybody has different problems, and we try to show you some of ours, some of our members, some of the people we collaborate with, and building great ideas. This is Meet Marino, for example. He is an engineer by trade. He's a really focused person, and he developed a LED grow light. This is a real problem in Germany when you want to have an agriculture which is urban and which will feed lots of people. You need to have artificial lights because space is really small, and you have to stack agriculture, and therefore you need light, and we don't have a lot of sun here. So, but he had a lot of problems. He had no real business concept. He has no idea of product design. Sourcing and mass productions are problems. Design mainly. Marketing is something that he doesn't have a grasp of. And the sales strategy is something where he said, okay, I go to market and somebody buys it. So this is something he really lacked. And of course, he needed other people. He wanted to have a joint venture with somebody else in order to get his business running or get the side that he couldn't do. Or Nina, for example. I mean, she has a really cool product. She invented vegan leather. I mean, the leather production everywhere in the world is enormous. And there should be a solution that is vegan and doesn't have to get animals for that. So she really had a good prototype. She was living in Thailand by in this time where she developed the problem, and then she came to Frankfurt and built her first prototypes at our space. But as also, she has no idea of sourcing, no idea of engineering, no idea of mass production. She's a designer. She's an interior designer. So there were always problems with that. The business side was still weak as well, and she didn't have any idea of marketing. So again, you see, you can't do just a place where you imagine people to come and just do something without having the other stuff to do a proper business. Or this Turbo Spezial crew, I'm the man on the right-hand side, I'm in the team as well. This is a team actually that is added up by people that really have a plan of doing marketing, branding, selling stuff, imagining products, designing products, but they really had a problem. We really had a problem in developing it and engineering it, and as well as getting all the mass production, because this should be a global product. It's an electrical BMX. It's a hell of a ride, actually. I know if BMX is big here in Jordan, I don't know. I haven't seen any bicycle here for the whole week, but in Germany, bicycles are really big, and BMX is more so because they're a really cool lifestyle product. And this one is completely electrical. It goes up to 100 kilometers an hour. So it's really, really, really fast. It's not allowed to drive this in Germany, but we need to figure it out sometimes. But this really is a machine. And in order to get this into market, there should be a lot of boxes ticked in order to get this really into a structured way into the market. And this is why we got some brain, we developed brain over a year maybe, getting together with the team and building our program, our program really comes from fabrication, consulting to tech service. Then a product is developed. After that, we do brand building, financing, and then selling it to the market, which is a structurized, I mean, we are proper Germans. We structurize pretty much everything we can. So therefore, we structured this and got a proper way of doing business, because always, if you, I don't know, business is like climbing a mountain. It's a real large problem that comes in front of you. But if you deduct it in little small pieces, all the pieces are doable. And then afterwards, with the program, we hope that it works. And right now, it works for a lot of startups that are working with us. And what's the really cool thing about this is it got us a team. Because as we were collaborating with a lot of people, some stuck with us and got to be employees in our company. Right now, we have 10 to 14 persons working for our company. This changes all the time, actually, because some of those are project-based. But it's a really cool mix of employees. It's brand builders, engineers, product designers. There's people caring for every small details. We have graphic designers. I'm an entrepreneur. We have storytellers. We have somebody, a carpenter, who does all the woodwork. We have event managers, and Anka-Chin is our back office. She really cares for that everything works in proper order for us. This really brings us further. We then developed the brain, but the next problem actually was growing up. We had to build a business out of this. I mean, it's the same problem a lot of people have here, I guess. You have an idea, you start something, you're totally unprofitable, and you need to grow up, and you need to see if you can do things that brings you the money in order to pay rent. And then those guys came into our life. This is, for example, is Berthold and Wolfgang. Those two are some quite famous artists in Germany, and they build large structures that is art in public afterwards. But they really didn't have the chance to produce all this kind of artworks. So we collaborated with them and built all the hardware for the art installations at our space. And this was a really cool job. And we did this sometimes with them. Same counts for the Museum of Applied Arts. For them, we do artwork, and this is then an exhibition. So pretty much the same as people do here. Or then, I mean, this was totally unexpected for us. The president of the German central bank came to us and said, I need some contact to young people that move something, and I have no idea how. So we developed an event series and series of events that enabled the central bank to work with our kinds of people and co-iterate and co-create really cool projects. So this was something completely new for us, and it helped us growing up. When we grew up, we decided to build this again into a proper organization, and this is our agency. This does work for lots of clients internationally, and does a lot of great products that come out of it. There's this LED light you see again on the down left-hand corner. You see a lamp, which was a design classic in the 50s, now reimagined with new tech, completely new product. We have fashion designers working at us. We have lots of furniture, lots of design companies working in our place, collaborating with us, and a lot of mobility topics. So then, building purpose was the next problem, because we did single projects all the time, and it was a bit tiring because we had just always the slight tiny bit of a product, because we were developing, we had the marketing, and we did all this kind of stuff, and so we needed to get back purpose. Then we took several companies that we had there that really needed to be developed properly, that needed a lot of our program help. So with those together, we created companies together. So we are shareholders of these companies as well, and imagined how LED lights could turn into a real good business, helping people and develop meaning. So, and we had a lot of those actually because they didn't have any money, but wanted to have a real company and needed us in order to develop their products. So what we did is took shareholders and things, started a venture capital fund, and worked with them together. That was Spezial Investment, which is our venture capital fund. So now today we pretty much on chapter 5. So now our business is about scaling. Now but it's also about giving back. So actually we have 5 businesses right now. We have a restaurant, we have our investment firm, we have our agency, and we have the makerspace you see. But we didn't have, as we can't take shareholdings in every company that we really like, because this would be too much work. We don't have enough money. We needed to have a program that worked together with all the little small creators and creative people and small businesses and startups in order to find something, in order to build them. So we started a little exhibition, which was like, I don't know, 5% of this one here, maybe 2%. And once or twice a year, we all meet up and have talks, get together, reimagine how we can solve problems, reimagine what products should be there in the next 10 years, what creative stuff could be done with the collaborative mind of the people there. So for this will be our accelerator. We're just about starting it. It will be launched within the next 3-4 months, I guess. We already have 16 startups that work with us. That will be the first 16. We will have a maximum of 50. And for that, we put everything into it, our fabrication, our prototyping space, the whole program, our team, as well as all partners and clients that we work with. So all these large firms, small firms, designers, creators that we got to know over the last 5 years, and put them into one team and try to get an accelerator running from that. I mean, this is probably a good point to start a conversation, because I thought there could be same problems here, and there could be the same ideas running around, because I saw this at Tatcraft. I saw this at several other places, and I think this should be the point where we can talk about maybe have questions, something like that.
Does anybody have any questions or points for discussion that we can start with? Or maybe do you have any questions for the audience that they can answer to?
There's one. Very nice. First brave soul.
Thank you very much for your talk. You mentioned working with VC funds. Can you elaborate more on that? How you approached VC funds?
Just to clarify the question, is this the point of view of a startup working with, trying to get VC funding, or is this a structural thing where you get VC funding?
No, your involvement, what you were just talking about.
All right, so we started an investment fund actually. We are a VC fund. This is what I did the last 12 years in Frankfurt for large banks and small companies. We have a network of investors that we work with. First of all, we take some of our working capital into startups, do a Series A with this, and trying to get the business running to a point where it gets to the verge of being profitable. And after that, we take investor rounds and start with Series B and Cs in order to get the businesses funded properly. Does this answer your question, or is there more to it? So what's it about here in Jordan? I mean, we will be here tomorrow until tomorrow, day after. What's your place? I heard, I couldn't visit them actually. There are 2 maker spaces here. So whenever you have really cool projects that we're doing, and I saw you really have good projects. How do you start them? What are your experiences in how hard or how good is it to get something running? Do you collaborate? Do you find people producing for you? Are you self-producers? All right then. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Fabian. Thank you
No
so much.
problem.